Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our April 21st Town Hall. Hopefully it is sunny where you are today. It's not quite so sunny here in Syracuse, but little April showers will bring some Mayflowers, right? So thanks everyone for joining us today. We have a rather full schedule to talk about a bunch of different things. I'm getting some messages that some folks can't hear me. Brian's, Becky, can anybody hear me? Okay, wonderful. Thank you, folks. I appreciate the feedback. So as I was just saying, we have some lots of fun stuff going on this time of year. As most of you know, it is grant season, for lack of a better term as well. With April showers, we get grants. Or I should say grant applications anyway. So those are out there. And after we get through today's agenda, I will be available at the end of this call for a few extra minutes for anybody that has grant specific questions. So, Karen, are you hearing us? No. So, okay. We'll come back to Karen in a minute. Brian, would you like to start with some updates on some products?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I don't have any really earth-shattering updates, just want to give you the status of where we are. So everyone is probably well aware that cost of goods are rising. We don't have to dwell on all of the factors contributing to that. Everyone's probably well aware of those as well. But as far as what we are doing to mitigate that is there's certain things we can do. What has the greatest impact is if we purchase our items in larger volumes, we can bring some of those costs down. We have been able to secure a lot of commitments early. Our food sourcing team works as best they can with our vendors and sourcers to identify at what point things will change and prices may rise. And because of our position in the community and the work that we do with them, we often get the opportunity to secure things in advance of those rising costs. So we've been doing that. Also, as always, sometimes we do have to seek alternatives to products that we carry, and sometimes that's as simple as a brand switch or a pack size switch, which hopefully you hardly notice. But then sometimes it's a more drastic switch, like when we early on made the transition to a lot more frozen packaged produce when we were having a hard time sourcing the canned goods. And as always, whenever we do something like that, we'll do our best to get a communication out to you to alert you that there's a change in that pattern. And as of now, I don't really have any specific issues or alerts to pass on regarding those things. I will say that we, as we're speaking of the frozen fruits and vegetables, that was quite popular with a lot of people. So we've been able to continue sourcing that right alongside the canned goods. And we'll continue to have that. So sometimes an item or an item change weaves its way into our normal way of doing business. As far as USDA and TFAP stands, we have still 30 plus items on hand with good quantities on all of those. The layout of TFAP for the near future is not clear. It's still well funded at the base level, and there's just some things we don't know in terms of when bonus items will become available. I know there are a lot of questions about when will USDA protein meats come back. That seems to be the main question that we get. And the short answer is they're available and they do come back, but probably not at the volume and the variety that we saw over the past 2, 3, 4 years. And that's a result of the marketplace more than anything else. Rest assured, anything like that becomes available, we do get our hands on it as much as we can. I do know that USDA chicken should be landing on our dock today, frozen chicken, so look for that. I know that we do have some frozen fish lined up coming in soon, and we'll keep pursuing any of the other items that come in or that become available as soon as we get them. TFAP, a lot of you received a communication from us regarding pasta and pasta sauce for the month of April. I just want to reiterate that and back that up a little more context. We do have a pretty good supply, a significant supply of different pasta items, some of which are wheat pasta, and a very good supply of pasta sauce. So these are 2 items that were not available in the late spring, early summer of 2020. Those were some of the items that the supply disruptions hit the hardest. And now we're at the flip side where we have kind of a surplus of that. And what happens with USDA foods is when you have a high volume of it, well, no matter what the volume of it is, we have a certain amount of time to execute the distribution to our programs. And if we're not able to do that in that time frame, then we are encouraged to offer the balance of that inventory to other New York State food banks, which we fight tooth and nail not to do when we don't feel it's appropriate. We try to keep it within our network. But the best way to do that is to get that moved out and ideally into the homes of people. I know that we have heard some people aren't as much of a fan of wheat pasta as normal pasta. That's not uncommon, but it is a good staple item for people to have as a backup. So anything you can do to expedite those items will be great. And I think they will be welcome and useful in people's homes if we can be successful with that. Good news on the Nourish New York front. We have received word that program is funded continuously for the near future, certainly throughout 2022 and into 23. And what that does, our previous installments were very short term. They'd be months at a time. And so we did everything we could to line up our supply, but it was a little bit unpredictable. Now with this level of predictability, it allows us to forecast better and to extend our commitments out further and hopefully expand the product offering from Nourish New York to include more non-perishable and some more of these items that people are seeking. Specifically, we are in works to develop IQF frozen New York State grown vegetables. And what's great about that is the Nourish New York items are entirely covered by that grant. They are at no cost to you, no cost to any other grant. It's covered by Nourish New York. And they're usually pretty plentiful and in steady supply. Also, we continue to search for and source New York State frozen meat, frozen protein items. It does exist. It is out there. It is not at this time to the scale of what you might expect from a Purdue or a Tyson. But hopefully with this commitment, that's one of the things that gets achieved as Nourish New York goes on, as some of these producers are able to establish us and you as a customer base. They can scale that up and perhaps we can replace some of the missing protein from some other programs. As far as other things, Nourish New York, great for larger distributions. We will have the boxed items, the boxed produce, and hopefully the boxed dairy items available going forward. And if that is something you're looking for, to do a larger distribution, we kind of say 100 households or more at a time, please reach out and contact us ahead of time. Contact Brian A. or myself, and we will make sure that if we're able, we will get you organized and get you that supply so that you don't have to worry about trying to identify something on the menu and deal with that. We can hopefully help you with the logistics there if you just let us know well in advance that that's something you're interested in doing. Other news, Tops Friendly Supermarkets are coming into the fold with Food Bank of Central New York. So if you are receiving donations from Tops, nothing will change, but you have us more in your corner now. So there may be opportunities to receive more than the store was giving you, and we'd work with you on that. The other side of that is that Tops is looking to have those donations recorded and streamlined through our process, which for anyone that does it, hopefully can tell you is very, very, very simple. It's just punching a few keys into a computer, and that donation receipt goes right to Tops. So if you're receiving donations from Tops already, let us know, and we can help you with that transition process. Lastly, I want to thank everyone. I'm confident that winter is mostly behind us for our colleagues in Shenango and Portland County. I know that's hard to say right now. I hope you guys are doing well down there. If you are logged into a computer, I guess you're doing. But thank you on behalf of everyone for what you've done all winter long to make sure that our drivers were safe at your sites. It is greatly appreciated, and it does not go unnoticed. Every little bit of us working together helps. So thank you for that. Thank you to everyone that's been on top of any inventory discrepancies and communicating those back. We apologize whenever they happen. But the fact that you let us know when they do helps us a great deal, and saves us a lot of searching and hunting down any errors we may have made. So please keep that up when it does happen, although we're going to make it as rare as we possibly can. I didn't see, I don't know if there's any questions for me at this time, but I'm on for the whole discussion. So if there are any, please type them in there and we'll address them at a later time.
Brian, I know there's a couple of questions here. Let's just see. We seem to have some. We seem to have a ghostwriter typing at you, I guess. So, what about the burned dairy milk that they were getting previously? Is that coming back?
Yes, yeah. We will have, and we do have fluid milk for free through the Nourish New York program on our menu, and we'll continue to have it available on the menu for the duration of the Nourish New York program. And that is that milk that we have on the menu specifically from Burn Dairy is UHT milk, which we did talk about this. It is not shelf stable. It's just normal fluid milk. It just has a very long shelf life. There's nothing different other than you get to keep it for longer without it spoiling. So it's a really, really great product.
Fantastic, thank you. And it looks like we have a question from Liz Maripes. She has her hand up there. So Liz, I'm going to unmute you and see if we can hear you. Go ahead there, Liz.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know. I thought my hand was down. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, hello, Liz, anyway.
Hi. Thanks for doing such a great job, everybody.
Thank you, Liz.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw Celia had a question about butter. So most of the butter we've had has been through USDA. That's been the bulk of it. New York State butter is available. but not as much as one might think. So we will stock that, but sometimes it can be cost prohibitive. I mean, it's free to agencies. It's obviously free beyond that, but we do have to be good stewards of those funds. So if something's a little bit too priced out of the normal range, even if it's New York State, we wouldn't acquire that.
Brian, there's a question about spices, dried beans, or halal products. Can you share any insight on those?
That is a great question, Daniel, and we're aware of the changing needs of your constituents and the types of foods that are desired that sometimes aren't offered through the Food Bank of Central New York. Now, dried beans is not uncommon for us to have. I don't know. We have not any in the inventory right now, but I do know we have immediate plans to work on securing some of those. The best I can say is that we're working on that from all angles. It's definitely a focus of ours to improve in that area. But I don't have any immediate, to answer your direct question, any immediate plans for us to secure spices or halal products, but there's a lot of activity around, especially kosher and halal. Christine is asking about coffee and juices. I'm pretty sure we have a selection of coffee available on the menu now. We did just receive a kind of an assorted donation. I know some of it's blueberry coffee. Some people love.
It's very tasty.
Yeah, Tops in Rome is now a Grand Union. Do we have connections with them? We don't. Tops and Price Chopper just recently went through a merger, and not all Tops went over to Price Chopper. Some of them became affiliated or independent, and I believe the Rome Grand Union is one of those. But it doesn't hurt to ask them if you're already receiving donations from them. Great. Christine, I'll have to get back to you under the what tab for the coffee, because I don't have access to that right now.
All right, thank you. And we've one more question. Time for one more question. Melissa, your hand was up.
So Brian, I know that you have done really great at inputting everything into the menu and making sure we know frozen, whatever. Is there any way to make sure, like, if there's a date on it? So for example, the cheese sticks, that were donated, and they had a date of like the 31st of March. Is there a way for that to be on the website so that just enables us easier to plan and know what we're getting?
That's a great question, and that's something we have kind of wrestled with for quite a while, exactly for that reason, because we want to give people all of the information that can help them. The barrier to that is that it's complicated, but there are only so many fields that can be included in item information, and expiration date. Well, it's not a listed one, and so we've tried to come up with ways that we can kind of rig it in there, and what happens is it gets attached to the item, and then no matter what, when you see those cheese sticks, it'll tell you March, or whatever it was, it'll tell you March 31st, long after the time that a different load of cheese sticks has come in. So it's a little bit of a process issue. I'm hopeful that going forward, I know that there's a lot of investment in improving that system coming forth. I'm hopeful that that can be something that is included in there, because it especially helps us on our end when we do have things like, this milk that I'm mentioning that people are hesitant to order because in the past they've received, like you're talking about, short-coated milk, and now we have the dating might be in June, but people, once burned, twice shy. So The more information we can get on there, we definitely will, and we want to. It's just been a barrier for us so far, and I do apologize for that.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian. We appreciate all
My
the
pleasure.
information. A lot of good stuff coming up by the sounds of it. All right. So next, we will have Karen, maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry about that, everyone. Not sure what happened, but like I guess anything, technical difficulties still do exist through all this. So I was going to start off by saying how great it was to be with everyone this afternoon and just thanking you all for being here. So Brian probably has the most important information, as does Becky and Michael. So I will be quick with the couple updates that I had for all of you. Just kind of wanted to give you, information around what we've been doing the past few months and what we see coming down the road. So we, as an executive team, started a strategic plan back in October, and we were able to complete that within a 6-month time frame with a consultant, and we will be going to our board in May to vote on that. But really focusing on what the next 5 years look like for us, how we can continue to partner and strengthen the partnerships with all of you, having the end user and their needs really as our focus as we continue forward in the work that we're doing. But we really focused on 6 focus areas, and to give you an idea there, so strengthening our community partnerships and referral network, using data to help drive our decision making, diversity, equity, and inclusion, resource, food distribution, equipment and facilities, technology, and then unrestricted and sustainable funding. So really within all of these areas, it's really how can we strengthen the food bank to continue to strengthen the partnerships with all of you and to be a big resource and help to increase the access that you need for food in the communities that you're serving. So we're really excited for the plan, how it came out, the fact that we had 6 focus groups all aligned with the same message and intent of the plan for these next 5 years was really exciting. So we will get the board vote in May, and my hope is that we will share communication this summer with you, an executive, report out about what the plan is and what our goals and objectives are and what those action steps are. So be on the lookout for that in the next few months. And then I guess, as you think pandemic and the impact that it's had on you as an organization, we too have felt some of those pains from staffing. We still are struggling with some staffing of some positions here, warehouse drivers, those are some of the harder ones to hire. So, I just say, please let us know if there's anything that you need, and we are trying as hard as we can to get staff here and consistent staff so that, we have the longevity and continuation of the work. But, we are, like other companies and organizations, also facing that currently. So, we're trying. The market's a little tough out there, but we're going to do the best we can these next few months to get us back to fully staffed. But then the same breath, I guess, the space component of what has happened, the need for additional food has really stretched the walls that we're in, and we can't stretch them much further in the warehouse space. The model of distribution changed to where those pre-packed boxes really became a staple for so many that, we were finding space every time we were doing a repack. So sometimes it was on the main dock, sometimes it was on the west end of the building by where you do the agency pickups. Sometimes we pack right outside the office door. So we are embarking on an expansion of the food bank and have really just been going through the initial, I guess, discovery phases of what that could be and what that looks like. So as that continues forward, we will keep you all up to speed on what we're thinking and what that entails. But yeah, we are looking at an expansion and a capital campaign of the food bank to be able to continue to provide the quantity of food as well as I guess how the pre-packed boxes, which has become a staple within most of the programs within the service area. So um, that is up and coming and kind of new for us and a little scary as I think about the conversations we're having. So, but I know that it will help to provide quite a bit more for all of you. So that's the most important part, is making sure that we're meeting that need and in the form that you need it to get to the communities that you're serving. And then lastly, within that arena is really, we are within 6 months, we'll have a new signed contract with Feeding America about what our responsibilities are with them and things that we have to do to be compliant within the realms of the food banking world through their eyes. So as we navigate through this new contract, if there are pieces that impact you, we will definitely, you know, share them with you. But for the most part, I don't feel that there is a lot that is coming out of it that really impacts, you know, our relationship in terms of our agreement. We're looking at adequacy of service pretty significantly, which is also part of our strategic plan underneath that data piece. But it's taking into account things that we're already doing. And I think it's a great change from a poundage conception to, you know, to really focusing on people versus pounds. So it'll be a slight shift. And as that happens, we'll determine how we want to measure that and look at it. But so stay tuned for what that might mean as we move forward. Quickly, just a couple of other items. I think last time when we met, I kind of talked a little bit around the concept and philosophy around hiring in the agency relations team. So I know Suzanne is with us today. So I know she's not up on the screen, but if you haven't met Suzanne Merritt, our new team member within agency relations, I hope you will get that opportunity soon. But Suzanne started with us in January of 22. And really, again, it's around that concept of, we have Angie in Northern New York. Suzanne is kind of that Mohawk Valley area. And then Brian is here in the Central New York, and Michael helps with all the pieces. But there's now a department of 4 within the agency relations team again. So, but we are looking really at that regionalization around the department and how we can better serve and be there for you. So our hope is that you are liking this new layout and design, and please keep us posted if you have any questions or concerns as this continues forward. But we're excited about the team that we have, and hopefully we will be able to respond and be able to I guess address your needs on a quicker basis in this layout. So keep us posted. I'm excited to hear how that's working. And then a big one coming up is Service Insights. So around that technology component of our strategic plan, there is a software database that is coming down through Feeding America that will help us to track service numbers as well as the participants coming through the agencies. So exciting pieces about this is that it is free to all of us. So we're looking at what does that mean for you as agencies, and how can we help support the implementation of this through some technology purchases from our funds to be able to supply you with a tablet or a laptop. We're still trying to figure those pieces out, and then trying to figure out what that rollout to all of you looks like. But this is a database that will let you access your own data. You'll be able to do dashboards and reports and stats off of the information in there. You're going to have unduplicated numbers of the individuals that are coming through your programs. And you'll have real-time service numbers that kind of will tell your story of what you're seeing at your agencies. And hopefully you can use that as your grant writing for other opportunities that are out there in the community. And it'll also help us to see where some of the need is. and how we can work together to fill that need within the service area. So we're excited about this. This is one of Feeding America's strategic goals of helping to strengthen the network. So this is one of the things that they're offering free to all of us. And our goal is to then offer it free to all of you and help you through the implementation and use of it. So stay tuned. We will give you more information as we get, I guess, geared up and rolling it out to some pilot sites. And then I'm not sure if we talked about it because I'm not sure what Brian said at the beginning, but we do have COVID tests available here at the warehouse. So if Brian didn't mention it, please check the please check the shopping list. You know, they're on there for you to access to be able to share with those coming to your program. So please get a case or a couple boxes to be able to pass out to the community. And then the last thing, I know this is what everyone's waiting for, and hopefully some excitement comes out of this, but the conference is back. We are looking at September 22nd to do our annual conference here in Syracuse. So stay tuned for some more information from the agency relations team around, it's at the same hotel we always use them right now. I can't remember, it's changed so many times through the years between, I don't know, who is it, Michael?
Karen, it's the same hotel, except it's been renamed the Ramada.
Thank you. I knew it had just been renamed. It's the Ramada. So same location right there on Electronics Parkway. But yes, registration and the agenda will be coming soon. And we're just excited to be able to see all of you in person and be together again. We're trying to work on a really great keynote speaker that'll help, I guess, re-energize all of us because it's been a long time since we've all been together. And we're hoping to work in some time for all of you to be able to network together on that day as well, not just listen to different sessions, but to actually have time to network again. And then I guess on that line quickly, I know COVID is another, little spike here. So we will continue to monitor that. And if anything changes or if we need to implement any COVID practices for the conference, we will. And we will make sure that you're all aware of that as we move forward. And then I guess I just want to end by saying that, I just returned from a conference in Kentucky for Feeding America. We know you guys are tired. We know we're tired. They know we're tired. So I think it's just nice to be able to reiterate that we all know that it's been over 2 years since the pandemic started. Things have changed. They've been harder, longer. And just that reminder of take some time for you, make sure you're taking care of yourselves because you guys are doing an amazing job out there taking care of your communities. And we couldn't have done this without all of you. So just know that you're just as tired as the next person right now, and that we are here to help you as we continue forward. So don't hesitate to reach out to us because we are here together doing this. So thank you. Like Brian said, we are just so appreciative and have so much respect for all of you and all that you've done these past couple of years, and especially that beginning of the pandemic and today. So I wish we could say it's over. Hopefully soon. So thank you. Thanks, Michael. Sorry I had to go in the middle.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate the updates and lots of big stuff going on this year. So thanks for sharing. Next up, we have Becky Laird, whose title is escaping me right now because it's changed so many times. So I'm going to invite Becky to come up and have a chat.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. Becky Laird, I'm the Director of Government Relations. I just wanted to, you're welcome, Michael. I just wanted to speak briefly about some very exciting news. I don't always have good news or exciting news to share with you all, so I wanted to take advantage of that. So, as many of you are aware, the state budget passed a couple of weeks ago, and in the state budget, we were able to secure an additional $22 million for HIPNAP. So that's works out to about a 63% increase in overall HIPNAP funding. So it's a really, really big accomplishment. We're waiting to see what that funding is going to look like for us, because obviously we don't receive that entire portion of funding. So we receive our allocation around that. So please stay tuned. But I did want to share that really good news. Additionally, as Brian mentioned, Nourish New York has maintained funding at $50 million, which is also great. It's not quite what we were asking for, but it's still a success that it was A, funded, and B, maintained at the previous level. So really great news. And with that, I wanted to sincerely thank all of you who responded to our advocacy action alerts that we were sending out on social media. I did see the listing of everybody who responded to that, and I could identify some of our partner agencies, and it made me really happy to see that some of you did take that step to reach out to our state and local, our state elected officials, and ask them for those additional funds for programs that mean so much to our work. So thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it. So again, stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted as to what that increase in HIPNAP funding looks like and how that will translate to all of you.
Well, thank you, Becky. That is certainly great news. Looking forward to seeing what comes of that next. So thanks again. All right, I guess I'm the last on the agenda for today, so we'll try to keep things going. As I mentioned before, I will be available right after this, right after we wrap up this call, to answer any questions that you might have about the HEPNAP grant that's due next week. So I just have a couple of quick updates, and kind of following in Becky's footsteps here. I wanted to talk a little bit about advocacy, because we also do some other types of advocacy here at the Food Bank. So Food Bank and our partners across New York State with Feeding New York State have been working with the Office of General Services here in New York State to try to iron out that TFAP intake process. So we've been working on that with our folks, our friends here at the state, as well as our friends from around the state and the other food banks. And so I just wanted to just kind of give you a quick update on that. We've been in some pretty serious discussions with them about what that intake process looks like and what works best for our partners and programs. So taking feedback from all of you that we've heard over time, we were able to share with them, you know, what works, what doesn't really work, and that type of stuff. So in May, we'll be hosting a seminar for the launch of the next TFAP year. In that seminar, we'll go over any changes that are coming up. We'll also go over the new intake form and have new intake forms and resources available for you then. So watch for that. It's coming. I don't have an exact date yet, because I'm still waiting for a couple more pieces of information to come in, but we will be hosting that, and we will make that available for all of you as well. Next, I wanted to chat really quick about some other information we've shared. So for those of you who navigate our website pretty frequently, you might have noticed there's a new tab under the Partner Agencies button on our main web page, and that new tab says the Partner Agency Guide. The Partner Agency Guide was created in collaboration with all of the food bank departments and leadership, and we took some time to look at it, and we've come up with a guide. Now, this is a generalized guide for all of our partner agencies, so there's very specific information in there about working with the food bank and what we do and all that good stuff. So we invite you to download a copy. It's got some wonderful graphics and photos in there as well. And we invite you to take a look at that and refer to that as you need, and feel free to reach out with any questions you might have. And then last but not least, it's the HIPNAP application period. So the HIPNAP application launched in March. It will be due next Friday, April 29th by 4 p.m. here at the food bank. We need to have that received. Now you can apply for that online. You can also find the link for that on our website, or if you have a If you applied online last year, you'll be able to revisit that link and see the link to the new application when you sign in. So there's a lot of opportunities. We also want to be available to ask any questions. So, all right, I think I've gone through everything I needed to catch up with. Do you folks in the audience have any questions? Brian McManus.
I just wanted to clarify about the COVID test kits, that right now we are beginning shipping them starting next week on every delivery, and with every pickup order they'll be available. And we're going to try to do that to make sure we start with an equitable distribution, to make sure everyone gets a share of them. And then at that point, we'll release them on the menu. So it won't be long until they're just open for ordering in any way possible. Just a few more days until we can get them rolled out as equitably as we can.
Thank you, Brian. I see there's another question about programs that are currently using databases. Yes, there are a number of programs that actually are currently using a database for their clients, and we're looking at ways that that can be integrated into the system that we'll be using as well. The next question, how many pantries have gone to pre-pack under COVID, have returned to client choice? I don't have an exact number on the number of pantries that have returned to client choice. My sense is that there's quite a few who've returned to client choice simply because it's better for the clients. It's often easier on the volunteers, and it ensures that the clients are getting foods that they can actually use without waste. So that's what I'm hearing back from folks who are talking to us about that. So, and I see we have some raised hands as well. Let's see, Kathy Coville. Kathy, are you there?
I am.
Hi.
I saw that we asked for 7,200. Do we increase that now that our totals have increased so much to ask for the funding? Or is that just 7,200 that you always ask for every year?
Every program is different, and hopefully it's based on your budget and what your activities are at your program level.
Okay. I know I'm paying like 2,000 every time we order instead of 500, 800. But we've been looking for more meat, and I went to BJ's and asked them to package like 4 pork chops per package and stuff. And you're talking about having a partnership with somebody. How do you do? Is there a way to do that or to ask? I'm not sure how to ask what I'm asking.
Sure. Brian, can you shed some light on that maybe? You have a little more experience with the retailers.
A retail donation partnership. Kathy, send me an email.
Okay.
Basically, we have over 100 retail donors now, quite a bit over 100 as we formalize our partnership with Tops throughout our entire service area. So every one of the 11 counties, there's some retailer making recurring donations to the Food Bank of Central New York network. In many cases, it's directly to a partner agency, to one of you, the people on this call. And sometimes that is the best arrangement for the store and the partner agency. When that is not the case, the donation comes directly to Food Bank of Central New York, and then that food becomes available through our menu. So, and you may not know, it may not be identified as having originated with a retail store, but that's the way that benefits all of us. But If you're interested in one of those one-to-one relationships, definitely get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch with someone on our staff that can see if there's an appropriate fit for you in your area. And if not that, then maybe there's a way we can connect that resource to you some other way.
Right.
Okay. It was, I couldn't get any beef. The only thing I could get was the packages of pork. The meatballs, hamburger and stuff, but we wanted like the assorted beef and the assorted chicken, and that hasn't been on there for quite a while. And we're doing the five meals or 5 days, and we were kind of running low, so I did end up going to BJ's to get some food, to get meat.
So you were ordering those assorted meat items off of our menu?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I did notice that we had a surplus of those for a while, but I think with the absence of the USDA proteins, a lot of agencies have turned to that as a resource. I will say that as things stand right now, that's been a pretty steady supply for us. And there is a little bit of a lag in processing with that. So sometimes we have it. We have volunteers that go through it and staff that go through it, sort it, and package it in those. It doesn't come directly from the retail store like that. There's a bit of labor involved. And I know we have more. It may just be a matter of it going through that process.
Oh, okay. I know I have another lady, she goes in and checks too, and we were getting worried. We didn't see any of the beef and any of the chicken, and I used to have a chicken freezer full all the time, and it
Yeah.
was right down to the bare items. And our intake, our clients have increased. We went from like 40, 50, and last month we had 76. And we're
Okay.
still getting new families. So yeah, they're starting to really increase on us.
Okay, I will make sure that they expedite that process and get as much of that on the menu as possible, because I did see that it had been fully committed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. All right. All right. So next, it looks like, whose hand is up here next? Melissa, you have a question again? Hang on. There you go. Go ahead, Melissa.
Brian, is there a way to request that I do not get any of those kits on our, we have a partnership with Oneida and Madison County Health Department, as well as the school district. And we have been getting tests all along and distribute them to our families. So me receiving more tests is going to overwhelm me with what I already have.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Let's see. We have one more hand raised. Michael Mallet. Hi, Michael. How are you? Can you hear us? Ooh, okay, looks not. All right. So, all right, are there any other questions? And again, we're always available if you'd like to shoot us a question or just call and say hi. We're always here. All right. So any other questions not grant related, we'll be happy to answer now. Oh, Daniel Ryan, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had two questions. One was for Becky. I put it in the chat. I was just wondering if the restaurant resiliency program made it into the state budget. That was happening. And the second question was based on the HipNap application. This is my first time going through it, and we've seen drastic increases in 2022 versus our 2021 numbers. So I'm just wondering, is it based off of 2021 numbers, or do you have the ability to kind of tell a narrative of where you're at throughout the first quarter of, first 100 days of 2022? Because our year over year numbers are significantly up. So thanks.
Becky, do you want to answer about restaurant resiliency, and I'll take on grant question.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Yeah, so the restaurant resiliency program was not funded in the state budget. It was an interesting program in that it went over really, really well in certain regions, and then it took a while to get off the ground in others. So there wasn't necessarily broad-based support across the legislature for continuing that program. Also, there were instances of the funding not necessarily going to those small local restaurants as the original intent of the program, but rather some larger restaurants that might have been franchises. So for example, like a fast food chain that is a franchise, but so it met the criteria, but not necessarily where the state intended for those dollars to go. So not entirely surprised that program wasn't funded moving forward.
All right, thanks, Becky. And Dan, as far as the grant goes, so your numbers to date at the end of this month will be part of the consideration. So each program reports those numbers each month by the 10th of the month following services. And then that is the numbers that'll be used. Because you guys do that online and we're able to process that rather quickly, that'll actually, your April numbers will be included in that as well this year. Okay, and there's a question about databases. They have a small pantry, and would they be able to access to the database? Karen, you want to help me out with that? I think the answer is yes. And we can't hear you again. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it kept saying the host needs to unmute you. So yes, to the question earlier too about if you already have an existing database, like Michael said, we're trying to see how that can integrate into this system, as well as this is really open to anyone. It's going to take us a while to do implementation to all of the programs. So I would say that, we are trying to devise a plan of what that looks like, and it's definitely longer than a year to get through to everyone. But once we get rolling, we think that we'll be able to potentially have it rolled out to all the programs within a 2-year time frame. So you would definitely be able to access it, Michael. It doesn't matter what size pantry or program you are, it's available to everyone. Good question, thank you.
That's wonderful. Robert. Are you with us, Robert?
Yes, hello. First, you haven't mentioned her name, and I think in a lot of these meetings, but I just really want to thank Mallory for getting us volunteers, Mallory Michaels. It's really kept us going, and it's really, really, really helpful. And to anybody else who needs volunteers, she's really fantastic for us getting some extra people. Second one might be too specific for you, Mike. I think we're going to try and get rid of a refrigerator that's freezing and a freezer that's not freezing. Is there a form, and I'm just right there and filling out the application, to get rid of the old ones? Is that going to be part of like something you would apply for? Is that something we have to,
So
one's 21 years old, one's 10 years old?
Yeah, so there's a form on our website under the partner agencies tabs and forms and resources, and it is a disposal form.
You know
So
if that's
some,
something we do before we do it, because there's a cost for that.
yes, send the disposal form in so we can cross-check the numbers and make sure everything's checks out.
Okay. All right.
All right, well, thank you. All right. Any other questions really quick here? All right. I will be on for another 5 minutes or so. If anybody has any grant specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them as best as we can. If not, again, you can always call us here at the food bank. We'll be here. We're here usually every day. I think I'm scheduled to be in the office every day through next Friday. So by all means, reach out to us and let us know if you have very specific questions. We'll help you as best we can. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. It's really important that we stay in touch and stay aware of what's going on around us. And so I appreciate everybody's time. And I would like to thank our panelists today for taking time out of their day as well to chat with everybody and keep us posted as to what's going on. So thank you, everybody. And we hope to see everybody soon. Hi, Dan, did you have another question?
Can you hear me now? Sorry, it kept popping
Yeah,
up on me.
no, that's okay. We have the same problem here.
Oh, gotcha. I know it's HIPNAP grant season. Are there other grants on the horizon that we ought to be aware of or kind of preparing for? Like I said, I'm a little bit newer, so I haven't gone through a full cycle. Just trying to think ahead strategically.
Sure. This is the big one. There may be other grants available throughout the year, but this is the annual grant that we work with our partners on. Absolutely. And Dan, I do owe you a phone call, so I will be in touch hopefully by tomorrow. All right. Connie, how are you? Connie Jenkins? Okay. Let's see, Gretchen Brown. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Michael. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Gretchen. Yep.
Hi. I just have a quick question. I talked to you briefly the other day. We have a new email, so I changed our login and everything in the portal for the HIPNAP application.
Okay.
Our paperwork that you guys already have for the 501c3 and all that, you will get to the new application, or do I have to go through and get all that again?
Yeah, no, we can pull that over.
Okay. Do you need me to specifically send you an email and let you know it's for the Jamesville DeWitt Ecumenical Food Pantry, or do I just trust that it's going to happen?
Why don't you send me an email?
Okay. Okay.
Lots going on right now, so you know, if you just
Sure.
drop me an email, then that way it'll get my attention there.
Okay, sure. So I'm going to submit our application and I'll send you an email telling you that it's submitted, and I'll give you the new email that I submitted it under. Is that
Yeah, that should work, and we'll put
okay?
it together.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Oops. Let's see. All right. All right, looks like we've got through all the questions. Again, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to drop us an email or let us know, give us a phone call. We're happy to help as much as we can. So thanks so much, everybody, and we will hopefully see everybody soon.